Hello, I am the Story Girl, and welcome to the story of the Goblins. For those of you who are more familiar with fairy tales, this tale is sometimes called the Bremen Town Musicians. Once there was a donkey. A very old donkey, a donkey that had put in a lot of hard work for his master, so he was surprised, very surprised indeed, one day when his master said, "Donkey, you're getting old. You can't carry as much as you used to carry. Looks like I'm going to have to put you down." "Put me down?" said the donkey. "Yes, I'm going to have to get rid of you, if you take my meaning." Why, master, why? I've done good by you, haven't I? I've carried many loads." "But you can't carry any more, can you? I'm afraid you'll have to go." But I can do so much more," said the donkey. And the donkey started to sing. "Stop singing." "Oh, master, I'm a very good singer. In fact, I would like to one day become a musician." "Fat chance of that, seeing as I'm going to be getting rid of you tomorrow," said the master, trotting off to his house. "Well, what does he know?" said the donkey. And he thought, as all donkeys do, that he was a very good singer, an accomplished singer, in fact. "Show him. I will go to the next town, to Bremen, and I shall become a musician." And so that very evening he trotted away down the road toward the next town, which is called Bremen. And he sang a little tune to himself as he went. "I'm a musician, yes I am. I'm a musician, and I can sing." Of course, he hadn't heard a lot of singing other than donkey singing, which he thought was very good. He was walking along when he happened to hear something sad in the distance. "Oh my," said the donkey, "that must be the saddest song I ever heard," and he trotted a bit faster till he came to an old hound dog who was singing a sad song. And as soon as the dog was done, the donkey clapped his hooves together. "Oh, that was marvelous, marvelous, dear neighbor. Tell me, what has happened to make you sound so sad?" Sniffed the dog, dogs can be quite dramatic. "My master said, since I can no longer see well enough to catch rabbits or to chase away foxes, that tomorrow he's going to get rid of me." "How awful," said the donkey. "You wouldn't happen to want to come along with me? You have such a fine voice, sir, such a fine voice. I'm going to be a musician. Perhaps we could be musicians together." "Oh, that would be marvelous." And the dog fell in line behind the donkey, and the two sang a walking song together. "We're a donkey and a dog, and we will be musicians." As they walked along, they happened to overhear the very saddest weeping you ever heard, coming from a little cat. "Oh, my dear Miss Cat, how can you be weeping so?" Oh, my mistress says that since I've grown too old to catch mice, that she's going to drown me in the well. Oh, tomorrow. Oh dear, said the donkey. That is perhaps the saddest tale I've heard today from a cat. Would you like to come with us? We are going to be musicians. I don't suppose you can sing? No, I can't sing. Can't carry a tune to save my life. But turns out the cat was pretty good on the bongos. Boom, 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 boom. And so the cat fell in line with the donkey and the dog, and they sang a walking song as they walked along. We're a donkey and a dog, boom, 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 and a cat, and we're walking down the street. They only stopped when they happened to hear something very strange in the middle of the night. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Said the donkey. It sounded like a rooster. Oh, my word, sir, said the donkey. You have quite a fine voice yourself, but tell me, why are you crowing in the middle of the night? You see, my mistress says that since I've grown so old and tough, and I crow all the time, she's gonna chop my head off and boil me for broth for Sunday stew tomorrow. Oh, surely there can be no call for that, said the donkey. I and my companions, the dog and the cat, are going down the road to Brennan Town, where we are going to become musicians. I know there could be a place for you in our group. And the other two nodded emphatically, and the rooster joined the group, and they walked along, singing a walking song. We're a donkey and a dog, boom, 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 and a cat, and a rooster, a-doo-doo-doo, and we're going to be musicians. Well, as they walked along, they happened to spy a light in the distance. Oh, that might be the town, said the donkey. Too soon, said the dog. Boom, 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 said the cat. I believe it could possibly be a house. Our first audience, said the donkey. If we go up to the window and we sing, perhaps they'll give us lodging for the night. Get ready, get ready, get ready. And they trotted on up to the little cabin in the woods where a little candlelight was glowing. And the donkey stood at the window, and the dog stood on the donkey, and the cat stood on the dog with her bongos, and the rooster perched on top of the cat's head, and the donkey said, and one, and a two, and a three. And they all started to sing and pound their bongos as loudly as they could. And the occupants of the house heard the sound and bolted from the house as quickly as they could, running for all they were worth. Oh, I don't know if they liked it, but free house, said the donkey, and the friends settled into the house. The rooster perched on top of the house and yawned. It had been a long night of walking. And the cat curled up next to the fire, which embers were burning lowly, and the dog sprawled out in front of the door, and the donkey made himself comfortable in the yard. Well, the musicians didn't know it, but the 4 men that they had scared away from the house were 4 bandits, and this house was their secret hideaway where they would stay in between jobs of being bandits. And they were just waiting there for some instructions for who they should be banditing next. But when they heard the sounds, they were so frightened they had burst out of the house, running for all they were worth, they ran right into the leader of the bandit group. "Here now," said the leader. "What are you all running for? Weren't you at the house? What are my orders?" You see, sir," said the boldest of the bandits, "we were waiting in the house, but we heard this horrible sound and we knew it was goblins. Goblins, sir! They've stayed at the house. The house must be haunted with them." "Ah, you're fooling me. All of you can't be scared of goblins. Goblins!" And he pushed them all aside and huffed off to the house. Well, by now, the embers had burned quite low in the fire, and the candle had guttered out. The bandit leader opened the door quietly and poked his head in. He didn't see any goblins. He stepped in. What he needed was a bit of light. He reached in his pocket for a match and struck it. A few minutes later, the bandit group, which had stayed a fair distance back but was waiting for their leader, heard a shout of "Goblins!" and saw him running as fast as he could away from the house. "What is it? What happened?" they all asked him. I went to light the fire, and a goblin with huge, shining eyes reached up and scratched my face. Well, the goblin that was up on the roof said, "Cook him in a stew! Cook him in a stew!" And there was a goblin right by the door as I was stumbling out that clawed me on my leg. You can see a bit of blood there. And one of them kicked me in the back just as I was running as fast as I could. Oh, so go back there. And the bandits never did. And the Bremen town musicians never made it to Bremen, but they lived happily and comfortably the rest of their lives in the goblin cabin. The end. I am the story girl, though some people have called me the girl who sings incessantly. Not well, but incessantly. Actually, once one of my cousins said that she heard somebody singing, a little girl singing in a restaurant to herself, and it reminded her of me. I'm that girl that's just always singing. In this story, the Bremen town musicians, I've always took for a bit of a dull story, an animal story, a story about a donkey, a dog, cat, chicken. But if you look a bit closer, it's hilarious on account of at the end, the human bandits are scared away thinking that these four animals are goblins. Which is why I like this story so much. And I love telling it. Do you have a story that you just love to tell? That you switch up every time? For example, a cat that plays bongos? If you do, go ahead and tell it to somebody. If you have a story that you're like, "Oh man, I'd love the story girl to tell this story," send me a comment. Comments below this or any of my videos. If you are new to my world of stories, welcome. So glad that you're here. Please subscribe. Subscribing to my channel, you will get stories every Tuesday. If you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I've got some extra stories on different days of the week too. Remember, that's The Story Girl, story with an I. Bye.